By a show of hands, how many of you have been in some capacity in club building, in membership building, I should say? Great. Current VPs of membership, current or past? Public relations, current or past? Education, current or past? Awesome. Growth and retention are integral to the club success plan. The Membership Building 3 R's is a program that I put together a couple years ago. And the 3 R's stand for retention, recruitment, and resuscitation. Retention is one that centers around meeting planning. Recruitment is marketing. And resuscitation is when you get to the point where you are about to flatline and you need to call in a club coach. Clubs fall prey to attrition. It's just a fact of club life. Primarily because of relocation for job or for a living. You find that when you leave your club till it is too late, you're faced with a problem. It is said that happy people are not rushing out the door. So if your club members are happy, unless they're leaving for relocation, for a job or home, they're not going to be leaving the club. Are you all familiar with the phrase, a happy wife is a happy life? Well, a happy club member is a happy club. Whose responsibility is membership building?
Everybody.
Great answer. It is everyone's responsibility. The backbone of membership building falls to membership, education, and public relations. This is your skeleton, your core. The other roles are the meat and skin of a club. So let us start with membership. Moments of truth. How many of you have done that within your club? Do you have a problem doing the moments of truth?
Too long.
Too long. The session?
The session.
How long does your club meet?
Depends on the club, but if it's a lunchtime club, the Moments of Truth takes the entire meeting.
Then break it up into sessions. If you cut it down into sessions, you can do it piece by piece. But the reason I'm asking is that some people feel that doing the moments of truth when you have guests is more like airing your dirty linen in public. And I tend to disagree. Because if I am a guest in your club, I need to know that you've got the benchmarks in place that will, your thermometer or your barometers as it were, find out what's wrong. Make sure that you're doing things correctly. And the moment of truth allows us to do that. When you do the moments of truth, you find out exactly where you are, what the status of your club is. You find out what is working really well so you can continue to do it. But more importantly, it doesn't wait to the point where you're flatlining to try and fix something. So that's a great thing to do. Some of the things that we can do for retention. Any ideas?
Interesting meetings.
Interesting meetings, fun,
Greet each other.
greeting each other. Any others? How many of you have a membership package for orientation? That should be a must. How many of you actually talk to your members and find out what their goals are and what their needs are? I've seen 4 hands. That is critical. Because a happy member is a happy club. And everybody joins Toastmasters for different reasons. The reason that I became a Toastmaster is different to the reason each and every one of you became a Toastmaster. So what is this person's need? What are their goals? Is it work that brought them there? Is it family that brought them there? What brought them to Toastmasters? And only when you find that out, find out what their needs are and what their goals are, you can set them on their path. And if you do that for every single member, you have a club full of happy members because they're focused on what they want to do. They're getting something out of coming to Toastmasters. Symbiotically, the club becomes healthy. Absences. How do you address absences from meetings?
We send out newsletters to all our membership so they know what they've missed, they know what the meeting was about, and it's
How often does your newsletter go out?
after every meeting.
After every meeting. That's great. Bringing them, reminding them why they became members of Toastmasters to start with. It gives them a check-in system as well. Membership contests. Do you run in-house membership contests? Awesome. And the reason for that is to keep people on the edge. Alumni meetings. How many of you have a list of people that used to come or used to be members? How often do you address that list? Have an alumni meeting. Call them all in, bring them in, remind them why they were here before, and who knows, you might be able to get some of them back. Quality control. Do you have a quality control system in place? And what I mean by quality control is that with any business, how are we doing? Are we having quality meetings? Are guests being treated as they should be? Or have we become so relaxed that we forget the standard that was set initially? Next is education. If you meet the educational goals and needs, schedule your meetings ahead of time. So you're not doing the paycheck by paycheck method. Paycheck to paycheck is when at the end of every meeting you try and scramble for next week's agenda. Who likes living paycheck to paycheck? So if you put a plan in place, a month, and at the end of this month you hand up next month. Then the VP event can go and populate your website. And it's there. People that have to do speeches can practice and prepare. People that have roles that they've never done the roles before can practice and prepare. That speaks for a quality meeting. Mentorship programs. How many of you have members who come week after week but refuse to speak? What do you do for those members? Why are they not speaking? Is your VP of Education checking in with that member to find out why? I had a guy in one of my clubs who had gotten to he had finished 9 speeches, but he had not done number 8. I was there for almost a year and I never saw him speak once. I became VP of Education. The first thing I did, he was sitting in a chair, I went right up behind him. I said, okay, fine. Why are you not speaking? And he had a problem with visual aids. What would you suggest for him?
I have a question. Would you say that it's better for the VPE to talk to the member about their goals and encourage them, or for the mentor, the individual mentor, to talk to them about how to get to their goals?
Actually, there should be 3 people involved in that conversation. Your mentor, your VP of Education, and your VP of Membership. Because your VP of Membership brings you in, and you find out why this person joins. The VP of Membership relays this to your VP of Education so that when they're setting up their programs and their goals, that they can know what this membership is about. And then when you've assigned that person a mentor, you let the mentor know this is so-and-so, and this is why they're, these are the things this person wants to address. And all three should be keeping tabs on that conversation. So your mentorship program for this gentleman that I was speaking to you of, though he was a seasoned member, so he figured he did not need a mentor. And a lot of members are for 3 speeches. You can have a mentor for 1 speech. So what I did was I went into the club, and I know 2 IT guys in the club, and I said, okay, fine, so-and-so needs help. Will either one of you be interested in mentoring him through number 8 project? He got his CC. So you never know why people are not speaking or doing roles. You have to ask. Recognition programs. People say they don't like recognition programs. Everybody likes to receive something. It is a healthy competition. Have a recognition program, whatever it is, whether it be plaques, whether it be certificates, whether it be just blazing their name on the rolling screen on the club's website. But recognize your members, because deep down, for those, even those that say they don't want it or like it, deep down, that recognition means something. Education sessions. I have always maintained that a speaker is only as good as his evaluation. What are your evaluations like? As the VP of Education or the VP of Membership, are your evaluations positive? Are they helpful? I have been in meetings where I've heard a speech and I've heard an evaluation and wanted to be listening to the same speaker. Because at the end of the day, when you whitewash, you're not doing that person a service. You're actually doing that person a disservice. They cannot get better if you whitewash your evaluation. So run the evaluate to motivate session. Teach people how to evaluate. Your speakers become better. Your other members become better evaluators. And all in all, the level of your club rises. Time management. I have been in clubs where the meeting finished 20 minutes early. That is just as bad, my friends, as finishing a meeting too late. Because if you're finishing 20 minutes before you're supposed to, it means that your time was not properly managed. There was an opportunity in that agenda to do something more for your membership. Switch it up. I went into a club one day and I decided I was going to move the speeches from the beginning to the bottom. Nobody knew what to do, because they come in, they sit down, they got into a routine, and they go on automatic. They were not hearing what was going on. So switch it up, keep people on their toes. Those are some of the ideas for your VP that comes on the education. Now what about public relations? How many of you have a club website? Are all of your clubs, do all of your clubs have websites? Good. Something to strive for. How often is it maintained? Do you check? Have you been to a website and you've seen the same picture for 6 or 7 months? What are you telling? What are you broadcasting? What messages are you sending? The light's on but nobody's home. That front landing page should be changed every single meeting, at least every second meeting. Take members of your club, take pictures at your club meetings. Switch it up. Because that is how people find you. And if someone goes to your land on your membership page, your website 2 or 3 times and it hasn't changed, do they meet? Are they really there? Are they home? There's a floating message that goes across for Frito's host, I know. I'm not sure for the other websites. But there's another place that you can highlight achievements, recognition. Your new members are coming in. So-and-so has joined our new club. When that person goes to that website and they see that floating message, they feel good because they've been recognized. How many of you record your speeches? Do you have good feedback with that? Because some I've gotten some negatives about it. No one wants to see the mistakes. If you're not doing it, try it. Because when I became a Toastmaster, every single speech I did, I got videotaped as the VP of the PR for the club, and I was given a disc, and I could go home after and watch that. Because it's great to hear your evaluations, but sometimes until you see what you've done, you really don't believe. Some of you would notice that I have an impediment. I'm from Barbados originally. And ING in Barbados, we usually drop the G, and making becomes making. Tongue goes to the roof of your roof of your mouth, and the G goes lost. And when I was first told that, I'm going, what are you talking about? I speak English. And it wasn't until I heard my fellow countryman, Rihanna, that it hit me. They were right. I had no idea. Because in my head, the G was there. So if you have the opportunity, get your speeches recorded. It does a wealth of help. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Open all of the accounts. Club newsletters. How many of you publish a club newsletter? Nobody? Do any of your clubs publish a newsletter? It is an excellent tool. It tells the members, it's a calling card when you go shopping for members. If you're going into businesses and you can put a business package together and slip that newsletter in there, it tells people that this club is doing things. The template you can get from the Toastmasters.org and populate it. You're dropping things off at different businesses, or if you go to a company that has an HR department and you want to show them how Toastmasters can help them help their employees, this is something that we do on a regular basis. That is in-house. Those are all some of the things that you can do to keep the members that you have happy. Recruitment. External. What is Toastmasters? If somebody said to you, you were going to someone and you said, well, what is Toastmasters? What is your response? Anyone? What do you say?
It's a communication organization that focuses on leadership.
Great. And what else? Membership building. How do we explain Toastmasters? If you approach someone and you're trying to tell them what we do here, what do you say? And the reason I ask that is because a lot of people lead with, well, we're public speaking, we teach public speaking. How many people in your community has a public speaking for a living or something? So listen to your members, and if that's what they say, great answer. Communication. First and foremost is communication. Because if you are presenting or you're facilitating or you're just trying to get along with your husband or your wife or trying to get your kids to do what you want them to do, it comes down to communication. And that's what we do. What kind of marketing things do you do? How do you get members? How many have struggling clubs? What are the numbers?
10 and
10
14.
and 14?
Same clubs as her.
Oh, okay. Anyone else? Struggling clubs?
8.
8? Okay, I'm going to make a suggestion. Ask everyone in your club, or maybe you should do it. Do you know 2 people that you work with? 2 friends? 2 family members? 2 people at church? That's 8. That you know that can benefit from Toastmasters? I have have evaluated my priest after Sunday sermon, and I told him he needed to get into Toastmasters. So 2 people, and if you invite those, if every single person, let's say the person that has 10 members, if each of those invite 8 people, how many people do you have as guests? Let's say half of those show up, how many do you have? 40. And if half of those become members, how many do you have? Hey, is that a Bible club? It's not as hard as it seems. Break it down. Bring it down to the cost of a cup of coffee. People relate at that level. HR departments, go to HR managers, ask them, do you have an employee that can benefit from Toastmasters? Someone that has to speak, has to facilitate, has to present in your company. Someone who is shy. Ask them to send that person to Toastmasters. Someone who has to do a presentation, invite them. You have a presentation, come and deliver it. Let's give you some free feedback. A lot of businesses give educational credits. The project management organization is one of them. Suggest that maybe that company can do that. A lot of companies use it also for the year-end assessment.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefit. And the beauty about the organization is that you don't have to conform. No one that you invite to Toastmasters has to conform to what we do here. It is something that fits everyone because it takes them as who they are and help them become who they want to be or what they want to be. Some of the things that you can use for marketing business cards. How many of you have marketing business cards? And a marketing business card is a business card that looks, you can have the club domiciled on the front, and on the back of it you can have the person who is dropping off the card. This works 2 ways. It can work as a membership building because the prospect that this person brings into the organization, they get a point or recognized. If that person is translated back into a member, again, that for membership building contests. These you can drop in the library, the section where it has communication leadership, drop them in the boxes. People go there looking for information, they can pick these up. It's a little card. Information tables. How many have information tables in the community? Yes? What was your experience?
What's the question?
What was your experience?
Very good. I think when you're proactive, so in other words, you can have a table or whatever, but sitting behind the table and not being interactive does not work. So you have to be out there and actually talk to people. And when you actually talk to people, you'll be amazed at how much information that the other person is willing to give you so that you understand where they're coming from, if they've heard of Toastmasters or if they're open to the suggestion of coming to a meeting. You find out quite a bit of information. So my experience has been that on both fronts where it hasn't worked, but most times it has worked.
Bullseye. It comes down to communication. Carol on Toastmasters and Carol on in conjunction with Steinbach, we just did one last Saturday, as a matter of fact. And this was something that was new for the club. You have a situation, you go and you have a nice little table and you sit down and you wait for people to come to you. We're Toastmasters, get out there, talk to people. I heard a comment that even my friends didn't want to come and talk to me. Why do you think that is? If you're sitting behind a desk, waiting, what messages are you sending off? You want them. So should you not be going to them as opposed to for them to come to you at your table? Local newspapers. Local newspapers, community papers, radio, television, they all have social media. Plaster your stuff. They all have community boards. Plaster your stuff all over it. Keep everything you do. Go on and pop in a little note and with a picture. You're getting yourself out into the community. Corporate clubs? Any problems with corporate clubs?
Endless problems with that.
What kind of problems?
Low membership, members having lunch hour meetings, not showing up, that one is a big one.
And you know, it is a feeding ground. In Toronto, there was a lot of corporate clubs that I was members of who were struggling clubs. Apotec. Employee base is in the thousands, and they can get 20 members to a meeting. Why? They've got infrastructure, they've got intranets that could be used that were not being utilized. We took a meeting to the lunchroom one day. We ran a table topic session right in the lunchroom. Do you think people were curious? They were interested? There was another one we had and couldn't get members in. We closed the door. You couldn't see into the room. And on cue, everybody started clapping and laughing. Everybody outside wanted to know what was going on in there. They wanted in. We did it a couple times. People started opening the door, coming in. So you have to think outside of the box. You've got to go after what you want. Lunch and learns. Conducted lunch and learns. Businesses. Go into a business and ask for a 20-minute presentation on Toastmasters. Source your business. Find out what they do. Don't go in like a telemarketer or a used car salesman. Because people will only buy, and I'm using the word buy here, buy into the concept if there's something in it for them. Do you tell people about Toastmasters? How many tell? This is a trick question. How many show? Do you see the difference? When you approach someone, do you tell them about Toastmasters? Or do you show them what Toastmasters can do for them? I'm going to leave that with you for a minute. We have a great tool in the Toastmasters magazine. People hoard them. They have them in boxes in their basements. Why? Doctors' offices, businesses, anywhere that will take a magazine, domicile it, put your club information on the front of it and drop it off. If you're waiting for a doctor's appointment and the wait time is an hour behind, there's some pretty good reading in there. It gets your name out there. It gets the awareness of what Toastmasters is out there. So use your magazines. Drop them off in places like libraries, doctor's offices, waiting rooms, reception areas, anywhere that will take them. Talk about leaving your marketing cards in the library boxes. Invite a local, I don't want to say politician, I'll say a local public official to a meeting. Find some way to honor that person. So if you follow the news and this person does something momentous or something that worth acknowledging, invite that person into a meeting to honor them and advertise the heck out of it. People will come to find out why. And most often the media follows these people. Conduct public interest seminars, something that will interest the public, like interviewing skills. Have booths at fairs and festivals, job fairs. I know when I first came to Steinbach, and they have a lot of festivals out here. I mean, almost every weekend there's a festival of some kind. and I was walking down Main Street, and every single business or whatever was represented. And the one question that I stopped in the middle of Main Street and said, why is Toastmasters not here? People are walking around. You are part of the community. So don't sit back in the shadows. Get out there. We do fairs. We walk up and down the streets with flyers. We have flyers printed specifically for that purpose and have them in neon green, neon yellow, and hand them out. Engage in the community. Because a lot of cases, people are not, they're scared to approach you. What we do here is to teach us not to be scared. Last Saturday, I saw 2 police officers into a Clear Spring Mall, and I went after them. Excuse me, officers, do you know Toastmasters? Can I give you some information on Toastmasters? I'm sure you guys do reports and you have to speak to people. They took my information. I'm going to follow up. They don't know that, but I will. So don't be scared to talk to people. Because all you need to do is to get the people in the door. Once you get them into the doors, and you have a standard, you have a professionally planned and run meeting, they're going to stay. If they see you having fun, they're going to stay. I've been able to stand up professionals, and I am astounded. We have an amazing secretary. Every week after the meeting, she sends out a bulletin to everyone. And the pictures that she captured make people that belly got laughing. People see that, and then we post it to our Facebook page. You're having fun. People want to be in that kind of an environment. Radio talk shows. Book a radio talk show interview. There's something called public service announcements, where they are supposed to air. The youth, university and college campuses. Go after them. They've got media within them that you can spread. Your local chamber of commerce. They have meetings. You can request a 5 minutes, 10 minutes on their program. And my favorite is boots on the ground. You print out flyers, and we will go into a housing area, just as people are coming home from work, and hand out flyers. You stop and you engage with people. You go into businesses, you pick a business strategy, you go in, introduce yourself, and hand out flyers. You only want maybe 5 or 6 people for that instance. You don't want all 50 people that you meet to show up. It's 1 in 10. And if you do that on a continual basis, then you'll start seeing some upward movement in the numbers for your club. And then comes my favorite, resuscitation. So if you have failed in retention, and you've not constantly recruited, what's going to happen? Like today, we had both sides of this room filled. And people started walking one and one. And that's what happens to your club. One member goes, nobody calls them up. Then another member goes, nobody calls them up. And you don't know why, you don't even notice that they're not coming to club until they're not coming anymore. So when you fail to retain and you fail to recruit, you come into a club one day and realize there's only 4 of you. And that's where you're flatlined. You're ready for the chopping block. That's when you call your area director up, your division director, and your trio. We need help. We need a club coach. It's like your body. If you fail to feed your body the things it should be fed, you find that your constant abuse, one day you get up and it might start with a headache, or you might just get a coronary or something. But it's emergency situation then. and someone has to come in to resuscitate you. Your club coach now has to go back and start with your moments of truth to find out what happened, when it happened, and why it happened. What was going on? Were the meetings not professionally planned? Did one person have to do 6 roles? And that's why they stopped coming, because they felt they were overburdened. So that person has to come in, go back to the retention and see what was done or what not done. The recruiting, were we not recruiting? Why? And come up with a plan to make it work. But guess what? It is harder, just as it is harder to find a job when you're unemployed, it is harder to resuscitate a club when everybody has left. Because now you have to create interest. You have to bring bodies. You've got to go to your other Toastmasters clubs and ask them to come in and stage meetings so that when the guests come in, it looks as if you're open for business. Your club coach will come in and do all the necessary things that need to be done. Sometimes it has to be done by, pulling, but we've always done this. Yeah, but how is it working for you? If I'm here, it's not working. So the moments of truth, more frequent open houses, lots of intense advertising, and this all is very sales-centric, as opposed to the other 2 that were member-centric. So, it all comes down to sales. What is in it for them? Build relationships. When you talk one-on-one with people, find out, talk to them. What do you do? I had a gentleman last Saturday who was on his way. He couldn't get past our president fast enough because he had somewhere to go. And I'm in the background, I heard an accent. And knowing me, you are not going to deprive us of listening to that beautiful accent, are you? And he stopped. He said, but you have an accent too. I said, yeah, I do, but so do you. He said, where are you from? I said, Barbados. We started talking cricket. Then we started talking life. He was there for half an hour. So you need to reach out, you need to stretch, you need to talk to people. And don't talk at them. Don't be telemarketers. Go in, find out. And when you ask fact-finding questions, seek, listen actively. Listen to the content, listen to the intent, listen between the lines. And then show them, don't tell them, show them how Toastmasters can address those needs. Pitch the benefits of Toastmasters. Keep it interesting, keep it member focused, keep it professional, most of all keep it fun. And have a quality control barometer. Result, happy, healthy, vibrant club, just like a happy wife. I hope that you were able to get some nuggets out of this. Remember that membership building is everybody's responsibility. And I'd like to leave you with this quote. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do.